You ever feel like there's a battle going on inside your own head? Well, today we're going to dive right into that internal world. And we're using the lyrics from the Gatekeeper as our map to figure out what it really means to be in control. The struggle is real. I mean, how many times have we heard that? We've all said it, right? But here, it's so much more than just a meme or a catchphrase. It's really the jumping off point for understanding that quiet, constant battle that so many of us fight inside. All right, so let's get into it. Let's really break down this universal struggle. I mean, what is this inner battle, and why does it feel like it's just always there? Turns out, the lyrics give us a surprisingly clear picture. And the first thing you notice? Repetition. The lyrics don't just mention this struggle once. They keep coming back to it again and again. And that's not just for a catchy chorus, It's intentional. It's meant to feel just like real life, where these things aren't just a one-and-done problem. Nope, they're cyclical, they're persistent, they always find a way to pop back up. So what are the ingredients of this struggle? The lyrics actually lay it out perfectly for us. It all starts with this deep feeling, right? I can feel inside. And then you get that longing for a sense of direction. But that's immediately shot down by this super frustrating feeling of having no inner guide. It's the perfect description of being in a car, but with no steering wheel. You're moving, but you have no control. And of course, when you feel lost like that, what's the first thing you do? You start looking for a map, for some kind of guide. Which brings us to the next part of this journey, that search for an inner compass. You could almost call it an internal GPS. And yeah, the lyrics actually call it that, an inner GPS. It's such a great way to put it. We all know what that is, right? It's that thing we're all looking for, that gut feeling, that little voice of intuition, that sense of purpose that just points you in the right direction. And this next line, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It says the inner GPS is hard to find. Think about that. It doesn't say it's broken or that it doesn't exist. It's just hard to find. And that one little detail is so important because it suggests the guide is there. It's inside us somewhere. We just can't seem to get a signal. And that's what leaves us feeling so totally lost. Okay, so all this struggle and feeling lost, it brings us to this really fascinating paradox. Is our own mind a prison that keeps us confused and stuck? Or is it a playground full of freedom and possibility? Well, the lyrics actually dig into both sides of that. And right here, you can see the two sides of that coin laid out so clearly. On the one side, you've got the struggle, right? Feeling lost, no direction. But then there's this completely different idea, our mind as a playground of adventure, a place where we're the ones in control. So you got to ask, how can both of these things be true at the same time? And that really is the big question here, isn't it? Are we just passengers getting tossed around in this confusing inner world? Or are we actually in the driver's seat? The answer the lyrics give us is, well, it's surprisingly direct, and honestly, it changes everything. This, right here, this is the turning point. We're about to see a huge shift in perspective. We're moving away from that feeling of being lost and starting to realize where the power has been this whole time. So far, the lyrics have been all about the problem, right? This feeling of being powerless. But who's really in charge here? Who's calling the shots in our own minds? And boom, there it is, the big reveal. We are the gatekeeper of our own mind. The control doesn't come from some outside force. It's not about finding a missing map. The power? It's been with us all along. We're the gatekeeper. Just thinking about that idea of being a gatekeeper, it completely reframes the whole situation. Suddenly, you're not a victim of the struggle anymore. No, you're the one standing at the gate. You're the one who gets to decide what comes in and what stays out. You have the control. You have agency. So the big question becomes, what do we do with this power? Because realizing you're the gatekeeper, well, that's not just a cool thought. It's a challenge. It's a responsibility. I mean, just think about the journey we've been on. We started by saying, yep, the struggle is real. We get it. Then we talked about that search for an inner guide. And now we've landed at the most critical step of all, embracing the fact that you are the gatekeeper of your own mind. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The goal isn't really to find some magical, hard-to-find inner GPS. The real power, it comes from realizing you don't even need a map, because you're the one who controls the whole territory. You're the one who controls the gate.
And that's where we're going to leave it, with this incredibly powerful idea and one final question for you to really think about. If you are the one holding the key, if you are in charge of that gate to your own mind, that playground of adventure, then the only question that matters is, what are you going to let in?